Y'all, we are back with another episode of Uncut Gems with Slim. I am super excited to get you guys on here yet again today. I hope y'all week is going well and y'all have just been getting everything you need to do done. I feel like lately I've just been like, my to-do list has been lengthy, but I've also been checking off the different things on my to-do list, and I just feel like I'm in a good little flow, little motion of work, which is nice, but a balance of work and play, I guess. So I've been like making sure I have my healthy boundaries in place where like if I'm sleepy and I'm not gonna get to X, Y, and Z on the to-do list today, then I'm just gonna put up my boundary there and get my rest. I actually just woke up from a nap. But just kind of making sure that I have healthy boundaries between what I do on a day-to-day basis, work-life boundaries, personal life boundaries, just all those kind of things. And so today I was coming back from a small little weekend getaway, and I was like, man, like this is the second week in a row that I ain't really had no plan of what I wanted to talk about on the podcast, and I've kind of let the podcast kind of like slip up on me, where it's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to talk about? And so as I was driving back and I was thinking about like, what can I share with you guys today? I was like, you know what? Before I left for this weekend getaway, like I was like, I had to tinkle, you know what I'm saying? But I had already left work and I was like, I'm trying to, you know, get there, be on the way. And then I was like, you know what? Let me turn around and tinkle instead of waiting until I get halfway up the road and have to tinkle mid-road trip. And so as I reflected on that moment that I had, and like even before I had left to come back home, I was like at the mall, and I had came out from the mall and I was like ready to go. And when I came out from the mall and I put my stuff in the car, I was like, you know what, I probably should tinkle before I get back on the road. You know, because you know, these are things that it's subtle, but it can preach, okay? And so I was like, okay, let me put my stuff down. So I put my stuff in the car, and then I go back in the mall to tinkle before I actually leave to go home. And for some reason, those two examples was just standing out to me in my head. It was like, oftentimes I feel like sometimes we'll go out of our way to provide someone else comfort. I don't know how it boils down, but the point of me saying all of that is to make sure you don't go out of your way to provide someone else convenience or to make someone else comfortable. And let me preface this and give you guys kind of like a context around it. So like when I went back to go to the car to drop my stuff off and decided like, oh, let me run back in and go tinkle before I leave, like sometimes you will like go out of your way to make someone else feel comfortable. So when I went to the car, like there was a car like waiting on my park, and what's the most annoying thing is if someone goes to their car and they get in it and they take forever to leave when they know you waiting on the park, or when they get to the car they just drop their bags off and then they go back about their way. But sometimes like me, usually I would have probably like got in the car and be like, you know, oh, I'll just wait to tinkle until I get back, because I don't want to inconvenience this other person by not allowing them to have my park. And I know this is like, yeah, I know y'all probably like, girl, it's just a park, it ain't that deep. But this is where my mind was going, and I was like, this is some great advice to share. And so like, if I would have just left the mall and didn't go back in to tinkle or whatever because I was trying to be convenient for another person, then that would have inconvenienced me. And I feel like oftentimes we inconvenience ourselves to make something easier on other people. And in certain situations, like, yes, you should do things to help others. And I mean, that's something that I always do. I'm always thinking of other people. How can I help them? How can I make things easier? But there has to be a healthy boundary between that and between you inconveniencing yourself for the betterment of someone else, when it's not like something that necessarily needs to be wavered upon. I don't know. Hopefully you guys are kind of picking up what I'm putting down. And then that kind of rolled over into how sometimes we'll dim our light just because someone else's is dull. And that's something that I also want to encourage you guys to not do. Like, just because someone else's light bulb flickering and it said about brightness 20% does not mean you need to dull your 100% LED soft white light bulb, okay? You don't need to dim your light bulb just because theirs is like wonky, okay? Because then that's not benefiting anybody. You can help other people and things like that, but I guess the whole point of today's episode is to make sure you have a healthy boundary between helping others and helping yourself. And this kind of ties in, now I'm talking about it, it kind of ties into an episode I did on Rough Cut Reality Check, the podcast, where we talked about choosing yourself kind of over other people, because a lot of times we forget to choose us. We forget to choose self-happiness and self-love and all these other things because we cater so much to other people and we want to help other people, which is really good to do. It's really good to help others and uplift your brothers and sisters. But at the end of the day, you need to have a healthy boundary and make sure you're not dimming your light for other people just because there's those, like, you can use your, light bulb characteristics and like shed some light on them so they can, get their dullness a little bit more bright. But you don't have to bring yourself down just to make other people feel better. And you also got to make sure, keep an eye of the company that you keep, because if the people around you are always trying to make you come down just so they can feel a little bit better about where they are in life, that's not the company you need. Like, if you're around people and they're kind of like down here and you're up here, then they should be actively working to, move up. Just like me, like, I try to surround myself with people who are on my level or in a position that I'm trying to get to or something like that, so I can always have an example of where I'm trying to go. And so if you're the only one up here and all your people down here, you trying to keep moving up, it's not gonna work. So you just have to have those healthy boundaries. Again, that's what we talk about today. Boundaries. I could have a whole series about different boundaries, but I just figured that was something very good to encourage you guys to kind of check yourself and make sure you prioritize yourself the way that you should be, because sometimes we try to be so selfless that we forget that we are important too, and what we want to do and our goals and our dreams are important too. Just like everyone else's dreams you're trying to help make come true, yours are just as important as them. And so if you're spending all your time feeding someone else's vision and no one's feeding yours, or you're not feeding yours, then your vision is gonna starve. And everyone else around you, their vision is gonna, you building all the bricks for their walls of success, and you sitting over here with no bricks because you've been building everybody else up. Nobody been building you up. You ain't building you up. And then you just standing here, you know what I'm saying? So just make sure, one last time, say it again, y'all have those boundaries where you make sure you prioritize yourself, because you are important too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I love y'all so very much. Like, it's getting, oh y'all, it's May. It sure is. It ain't May. Y'all, it's the last weekend in April. Next week is May. Child of time, be moving. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you guys subscribe to Uncut Gems with Slim on YouTube. I repeat, I will be putting all educational content on Uncut Gems with Slim. That includes the YouTuber Beginner series. More videos are to come, so make sure you comment down below what other videos you would like to see if you're a beginner YouTuber, beginner content creator, things like that. All that is going to be housed on Uncut Gems with Slim. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Uncut Gems with Slim, as well as subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms. I love y'all so very much, and until next week.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and feel free to connect with me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Slim Reshae. That's SLIMRESHAE. Links will be listed in the show notes, and until next time, love yourself and be beautiful. When you're bad, when you need to